Okay, we're back in furniture. Let me see if I can move this over a little bit. We'll try that there to make room for our box. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna hide everything. I guess except I had that selected, so I'll hide that too. Or we'll keep it. Let me get my person back. I think we'll start with the end table. So we'll do a table that can either be with a lamp on it, or you can build a lamp to go on it, depending on which estate sale we get this nonsense from. I'm going to go ahead and click add. And I'm going to point some things out as I'm doing this. So I'm going to start with a cylinder. And by default, I just get this cylinder, and it comes in at whatever the default settings are. But if I've got this box open, remember this might be hidden down here in the corner. I like to see it open. I can change the properties of whatever mesh I just brought in before I'm even really done creating it. So I could change all the size and stuff of this without changing the scale, because I'm changing it right here on creation. So the radius we can set to like 0.25 instead of, oh, not 0.25 is going to be tiny. That's still a half a meter, right? That's largish. That's big enough. And then the depth, I don't know, like 0.1. Do the tabletop. Weird. Just hit a random key. Okay, so screencasting keys is not capturing when I'm typing into the dialogues. That's concerning. All right, we'll fix that later. All right, so we'll start with this table. Frame in on that. So we got a tabletop. I think it's still probably too thick. And then another thing I wanted to point out is we've got these gizmos here, and I caught myself doing this Tuesday, not really talking about it, but these gizmos, the colors match different axes, and so when I want to scale something, I just look up and I remember that red is X, green is Y, Z is blue. So X and Y are flat on the ground, and Z goes straight up. Other software may flip Y and Z. They start with that Cartesian plane, like facing you. So X and Y, like we're graphing something, and then Z is the depth. But Z is up here in Blender. So just remember the colors. All right, so I'm going to try and scale this down a little bit. So I'm going to scale on Z. And then we set that to 32. I'm going to go ahead and auto smooth right now, just so I get a little bit of smoothness around here. And I'm going to come underneath and just start insetting and extruding and beveling and doing crazy things. So hit tab mode, face. I'm just going to grab the bottom face, inset. Most of the things that we did in... Why are you not doing anything? Fantastic. Change some of these settings. Huh. I don't know why it doesn't want to be interactive. Maybe it's because my mouse is being so slow from OBS. I'll try this. Okay. Click and drag with the mouse didn't want to work. But so if you got this dialog open, you can just grab these arrows and then slide one way or the other. And so I'm going to pull this in, I don't know, yay far-ish. We'll give it a little bit of a base before we go into the stem. My extrude, I'm going to go ahead and do extrude along normals. Okay, that one worked. So I'll pull that out a little bit. We're going to make this a little ornate on the bottom. We'll bevel it. Give it a couple more segments. We're just making it fancy. I don't know why they do that, especially like the older the furniture it is. Your IKEA junk doesn't do this, but the older stuff, lots of ornate woodwork underneath it, on the legs, on the stems. Why? I don't know. For 3-year-olds to be impressed. I don't get it. All right, so we'll inset this some more. Does not want to work dynamically. Oh, there we go. All right. I'm just going to kind of repeat that. We'll come down again, do one more bevel, and then we'll get to the stem. Notice my bevel's kind of got a weird arc to it because I don't want to do that many. 3. So I did my type in when I made the cylinder and everything was at 111 as far as scale. And then I scaled it a little bit more on Z, right, to make it not as thick. And now when I bevel, it's like kind of doing a little bit of an arc in rather than being an even like bevel around the 45-degree corner. We get a lot more of our beveled sections moving this way and less going up on the Z. So accident, but we'll take it. Okay, I'm gonna do one more inset. Trying to look and see. Yeah, we'll do one more inset and then we'll get the stem going here. Just start bringing it down. Maybe, there we go. And then we'll extrude down. So tables like this, columns, pottery, if you're just looking for stuff for link to break, things that you can do with cylinders and round objects are just kind of fun. So I'm down yay far, yeah, whatever distance that was. So I've got the offset here if I'm wondering. So I came down really a full meter? No, because I scaled on Z, it's not really a meter. All right. I'm going to tab out of this and I'm going to hit Control A to scale or to apply my scale here. So this thing doesn't lie to me anymore. That looks kind of good. I'm going to go back into edit mode and we're going to kind of reverse the stuff we've been doing or try to. So I'm going to see if I can bevel outward. Nope, doesn't want to do that. All right, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to extrude and then I'll just scale it afterwards. I'm going to make this thicker down here. We'll have like a little knob or a knot at the end. So I extruded just a little bit, and I'm just going to grab this and scale it. We're coming out a little bit. Some more. And then I'll bevel it back. Now would be a good time to play with some of our orthographic views. So I kind of want this circle to be the same diameter as the one up here. So I'm going to hit my my first sphere here, which is wireframe mode, and then I'm going to come up here and hit this -Z, and that's going to give me an orthographic view from underneath it. And I can see I probably went a little too far. So I probably scaled it in or beveled it in a little too much. So I'm going to try and grab this face here, which might be difficult to do in wireframe. Weird. Okay, we'll do it that way. So grab the face. I'm going to go back to my ortho view, and I'm going to grab my scaling tool. I'm just going to scale it back up to where it matches that inner one, which is just really fun to do when your mouse is lagging because OBS is recording at like 4K. Okay, so we kind of got it. Did that matter? No. Is it going to give us better sales at IKEA? Maybe. But I tend to be, I hesitate to say the word OCD. I tend to be very detail-oriented when I'm doing these things. So yeah, it mattered to me. So I scaled that back. And now I can go back to my solid frame mode and then back here. So I'm going to bring that down some more. And then we'll pull some legs out of the knot there. I haven't decided what I want to do at the end of it. Grab, I don't know. So this was, I think when we started it, it was 32 segments around. So it's not going to go evenly into thirds. We'll give it 4 legs, like a bunch of weirdos. All right, so grab like 3, and then we'll skip 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grab 3 more. Right, 3 times 8, or 8 times 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grab these 3. Yeah. Okay, so now I've got 3 little chunks sitting here, or 4 little chunks sitting here. I'm going to extrude those out. Well, I'll say that for up here. So I'm going to use the extrude along normals, like I've been doing, and we'll just extrude out. And now we've got the start for some legs here. Come out once, and we'll just see what this yields. Come again, and I'll just move those down a little bit. Get some weird claw shape going on. And then let me try something crazy. So I'm going to try to rotate these down. But right now, if I try to rotate, it's going to rotate on a global axis. I want them all to kind of fold inwards. But if I rotate now, right, they're all going to rotate one direction or another based on world coordinates. So come up here, and I'm going to try, instead of global, let me see if I can do local. Let's see if they'll do that. No. I'll do local with individual origins. So I'm using these 2 guys up here. So I went from I think it was on global. Yeah, it was on global to local, and then this guy, whatever it was on, I think it was on bounding box, to individual origins. Let me see if I can rotate them that way. Well, it didn't like that as much. I think they're moving along their own origins, but they're still all trying to go the same way. That'd be nice. All right, here's what else we can do. Rotation's not going to work. I'm going to just scale some of the edges in. So I'm going to grab the bottom sets of edges here. Just the teeny tiny bits in the bottom there. 3 from each side. So there we go. I should have 12. Yeah, I've got 12 edges selected. And as an alternative, we'll just scale them. We'll go back to global. Probably bounding box center. We'll keep that back to where it was. And I'm going to scale them in, which should give us roughly the same effect as if I'd managed to rotate those faces. Sure. Okay, at least we got some angle going now. All right, back to faces. Grab those again. And we'll extrude once more. So now our extrusion is going the way those faces were facing. I'm going to try and scale the whole face in. So I'm going to do that. So now I've got those out some more. I'm going to again grab this blue part here, which is going to scale on the other 2 axes on X and Y. And pull those in. We're starting to get a little bit more of a curve. So I'm just scaling and moving and cheating a little bit to get the shape that I want. So I'm going to grab those edges again. Edges. I'm going to move those up on Z. Grab the upper edges of those, and I'll move them down a little bit. Maybe even scale them out a little bit. Just a touch. All right. I'll do at least one more extrusion down. So grab the faces. Check myself that I've got 12. All right, good deal. Extrude once more. Okay, we're going to let that be the bottom of whatever our weird little claw legs are. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to turn my snapping on. So this magnet here, and it's going to say it's going to snap to whatever edge is closest. And I'm going to again grab the outer edges here. I'm going to pull those down and snap those to where the inside edges are at, if I can grab the right ones. Cool. All right, I got them. Snapping is on, as indicated by the magnet. I'm just going to pull those down, and I'm going to grab that other edge. So as I came down on the Z, hovered over the edge that I'm trying to target, and now it should be fairly flat. And we can round this out on the bottom. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's just take this guy. Instead of just terminating at a even cut, I'm going to go ahead and bevel that a bunch. If it'll let me. Hello? Oh, again, I grabbed the wrong button. So I'm on inset, which didn't want to work. Let me bevel it. There we go. Undo a few times. All right, try it again. So we'll bevel it. And then we'll increase the segments to kind of get that rounded look. So we'll go up to like 6. So it was a nice rounded thing. So if your toddler is reaching underneath here to grab a Lego they lost, they're not going to jab their arms on the rounded bottom. We're not going to worry about the legs. They shouldn't be lifting up the whole thing and getting to the bottom of the leg. So those sharp edges will keep. All right, so we've got a table-ish. I wanted to play a little bit more with some of the settings on extrude and just show what those did. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to grab a face. Let me do this. I'm going to grab this edge right here again, and then I'm going to do select loops, and then edge rings. And here's what I want to do. I want to write a macro for Blender that gives me the sonic ring sound every time I do select rings. I think that'd be fun. So I'm going to grab all the rings around, and then, is it shift and then click? Nope. Try control or command click. There we go. So command click from your edge selection to faces, and it's going to grab all the faces that those edges are alongside. So now I've got the outer edge of faces. Well, that's mixing metaphors a bit. And I just wanted to show a few things with extrude. If you hadn't played with those enough. So we're doing extrude along normal, which means it's just going to go, our extrusion is going to go whatever way the face is facing, right? So consider each face a piece of paper, wherever that piece of paper is angled at, that's the direction it's going to extrude out. All right, so we'll see what that looks like. So we'll do extrude along normals. If we did that here, we just get a thicker table. All right, so we can, let's do that again, and we'll look at some of the settings here. So flip normals means I would just turn them inside out, which I don't know why I would want to do that. We can change the offset here. What is this? Dissolve orthogonal edges. Okay, it's going to try and do some cleanup. Don't do that. That's extrude along normals. All right, if you wanted to do something crazy, we could try some other things here. So there's extrude individual, and watch the difference here. They fan out, right? Each one, rather than grouping together, they fan out and do their own thing. So if you wanted to do some goofy like notches all the way around the edge here and then bevel those out, that'd be a cool ornate thing to do. So that's extruding individual versus along normals. Extrude manifold I will play with in a minute. Extrude region is what we looked at Tuesday, which just is going to go one direction or another, whichever way. So if you say extrude, they're all going to fly the same direction rather than in each, the way they're each facing. And then this one is absolutely bonkers, and we probably could have done this for our legs, right? So we ended up like curving these things out. I don't use this often because it takes a little thought to set up. But if I extrude the cursor and then click, all those faces are going to go to wherever my cursor clicked at. So we've gone from a table to a Cat in the Hat nightmare. But kind of cool. So those are all the different tools we have. I'm going to go ahead and do the individual and then bevel them just because it sounds cool. So we'll do extrude individual. Oop, I want to be on faces. I Control Z'd too far. Click, okay, now extrude. So now they're all individually there, and now I'll just bevel those guys. Now the side of our table looks like a fancy coin or a token. Segments. Yeah, why not? We'll go with it. And then kind of the same thing we did with our other table. Since we've got this weird edge of coin slots now, I'm going to extrude this guy up just a little bit. Okay, we've got an end table. Now I'm going to bevel it some more. Man, this guy. When is art done? When you decide to walk away from it, that's when it's done. When you're like, you know what, I'm not going to do it anymore. That's the only time it's done. Okay. All right, kind of a cool table. I'm sure we could do a lot more with the legs there. Those look, with all the smooth like bevels and cool stuff going on. Then our funky like Nintendo 64 polygon clawfoot legs there are a little goofy. We could probably clean those up, but we're not going to right now. So we made an end table. And again, I don't know how common they are anymore. I'm thinking of like stuff that was in my grandparents' house. You probably have never seen these artifacts of the old days. But this table used to, I'm just going to do it. So I'll show you a little bit really quick. Keep it in cap locks instead of tab. So you would see this in your maybe great-grandparents' house. I'm going to inset here, if inset works. Doesn't want to do it. Okay, we'll do it this way. So right in the middle of the table, like a perfectly good end table, they would build their lamp. And so they would just build a lamp stand right there, and then like there'd be a plug coming out of the bottom of it, and you had an actual light lamp there with a shade. That's a really, really thick lamp post for, probably could have inset that some more. So Yeah, that was the first thing that came to mind when I saw table slash lamp, was that used to all be one thing. So if you want to, build your lamp right into the table here. I'm going to try and inset this again and show you some variations. So I've definitely seen where the lamp just came right straight up out of the center of a nice round table. Still kind of thick, but we'll deal with it. And then I've also seen, just zoom in on this, and to again remind, so I'm going to hit Control and plus. I've also seen it more set up where maybe the lamp was further back. Right, so rather than coming out of the center, you had more room for big books right here in the center of it, and then like the lamp post would come up out of the back of the table. So if you want your lamp to be part of your table, this is something you can do. So just make the lamp come out of that, or create any other kind of table lamp or something you want to go on this. Get inspired, go check out some old Pixar lamps. We don't need them to fully jump around and everything, but you can make a lamp like that, make some kind of light for this table. I'm going to leave that there and call this a day on that table. Except I think I am going to bring it up onto my floor and see if that's too small. That looks kind of small now that I'm looking at it. Okay, and I'm going to pull back down and grab that corner. There we go. So it's sitting on the floor. Is it Alt-H to unhide everything else? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I made a tiny, tiny table. That's cool. We can scale it up. First, I need to name this. So it's going to be round and table. Name your stuff, not only for you, but for people you work with in the future. You're going to make models. You're going to send them off to your lead animator to put in a scene, and they're like, they get a whole bunch of like cylinder 1, cylinder 16, cylinder 7, box 13. They're going to be like, what the heck is this? They're going to hate you. Same thing if you send that to your level designer on a game. I do not want to put cube 37 into my game. Tell me what it is. Name your stuff. Like literally, what was man's first job? Right? Adam, first thing he was told to do, just name stuff. It's okay, we can do this. All right, so that guy is way too small for my couch. I might as well just throw my remote on the floor at this point. Yeah, let me just scale this guy up. So the scaling tool, if you're not going to use the hotkeys, so if you grab, right, either the box or the axis coming out, right, so I can scale it along Z, or any one of the other axes. I can grab these little boxes out here and scale them along 2 axes. Or if I grab from the middle, it'll scale the whole thing. Or not. Hello, computer. Nope. Because I want you to, you won't. All right, fine. Hit S, scale the whole thing. Now I think it's too big. All right, so cool. Even on our transforms, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to say, let's just go 1.5 all the way down on these. That looks better. Move it up. It's closer. And then the lamp will be whatever you want to do. So if you want to go ahead and create a lamp shade and stuff up there and let that be your lamp and table, then that's good. I hope you're enjoying these videos because the lag on this mouse cursor is making me a little insane. I need to talk to OBS after this. All right, we'll leave that alone. The other thing we're supposed to do, we needed to do a bookcase, which I think should be fairly easy. But I'm going to jump ahead to the room really quick. So all this is supposed to go into a room. I've got this big plane. I'm going to go ahead and rename it room. And we'll do a little bit of cool stuff with that. So let me scale this down. Let me use the right tool and scale it, not move it. And I'll show you some things we can do. So I'm going to go to edit mode here. So this is just a plane. This is literally one face that faces one direction. All right. That's the whole guy. And we have been so far extruding faces, beveling faces and edges, but we can extrude edges. So I've got this square floor here. I'm going to grab, I don't know, a couple of these. Let's grab this guy right here. And let me try to extrude that edge. I don't know why that was fun. Okay. Long normal. Let me just do individual. Try that. Perfect. Nothing wants to work for me. Guess what else extrudes? E. All right, so I'm going to pull that out. And for whatever reason, when I try to extrude the edge, it just wants to follow my mouse cursor. So I'm going to come out some, and then we'll see if we can fix it here. So I just extruded the edge. I only want to move it along the Y, so we like that. We'll go like 5, 6 meters out. I don't know where we're at. Oh, we scaled the thing, so it's not going to work right. I don't want to move it on X. I'm going to set that back to 0. I don't want to move it on Y. I'll set that back to 0. And now we've come out yay far. I'm going to redo that. So I'm going to tab out of this. Let me fix the scale on this guy since I goofed it all up. So Control A, apply rotation and scale. Perfect. All right, back here. I'm going to grab my edge, E to extrude, same thing. Now, I guess that is 5 meters. All right. But if your guy's out of scale, whatever it is, the object that you're doing has a weird scaling on it, then your transforms and your extrudes and stuff might lie to you about how many meters they're moving out. So I like to reset just to know that I know. So I'm going to come 6 out there, and came back to 0, 0, and I've extended my room. And we'll do the same thing over here. I'm just going to grab this guy, E. About 5 there, 0, 0. All right, kind of got a little L-shaped room now. And once they're extruded, you can just move those. So they're just edges. All right, so if I wanted to make that longer, I could. Now I'm going to grab all the edges around the side. E, extrude those up. And we have walls. We can fix how awful those are. All right, let's see. 4 sounds good. Z in there. You can leave it crooked if you want. Make it look like a fun house. All right, so we made walls. Again, Blender will lie to you about what things look like. What's cool about doing this is I could put a cap on it. And so if I drop this room now into Unity or almost any other piece of software, only the part of the wall facing into the room would show. The back sides wouldn't. So we can, in most other software, our one-sided face only renders from one side. Blender's rendering from both sides for I don't know why, I guess to be helpful. So we could have full cubes up like we did with the building blocks assignment. Here's a cube, like we could build our room that way. But this is definitely a lot less polygons and can give you some cool effects in other software. I'm not sure if the camera even renders through the walls here. Let's do a quick render and see if this shows. So I'm going to render the image. Yeah, even in the render, it's showing me the back side of the face. So anyway, so now we got walls. Now we just need a bookcase. Should be easy. So we'll go ahead and make a cube. Make sure I'm out of, okay, let's do that. I almost did something and then went to check myself to make sure I didn't goof. And I've caught people doing this in here before. So let me show you something. So now I'm in object mode. If I add something, I get a new object on the side here. Make sense? If I'm in edit mode, okay, I'm in edit mode on my room. and I add something while I'm in edit mode. So I'm going to add a cube to this and move them up, move them around, whatever. I don't get a new cube here on the side. This cube becomes part of the thing I was editing. So if you're in edit mode on something, you want to make something else, and you do all that, and you're like, where's the thing I just made on the side here? It's possible it's a child of the thing that you were editing when you created it. So, yeah, this is what I just went to check myself to make sure I wasn't doing, and then I realized I should warn you about it. So I hit out of this, and I've got just my room selected here, right? And I'm going to move it around. That cube is part of it. So if you're in, and this could be helpful. Like there are definitely times you want to add an object to the thing you're working on. So just something to watch out for. This definitely happens. I'm going to undo at least long enough to get rid of the cube. There we go. Z out. All right, I'll make a new cube. Name it bookshelf right off the bat. And Shift H. Yeah, Shift H will hide everything except what you have selected. Okay, and so this guy is 2 by 2 by 2 meters. I don't have any books that big. So I can scale it. I could just grab faces and move it. I could make changes here, which I think I'll do. So I'm going to scale on Y. So grab this arrow and pull down. And if you right click or left click, then it undoes. So you got to do it again. So pull that down, which puts me at 0.5-ish there, sure. What's 0.5 meters? Somebody help me out. Knowing that 1.8 is 6 foot. Somebody hit Google. Huh? Math is not doing the mathing this morning. All right, fair enough. 1.5 feet. That's kind of a deep bookcase, I think. Yeah, we'll go with it. Here, let's just do this. Here we go. Meters, 2 feet. Yeah, it's over a foot. So that's a pretty deep bookcase. I don't know. What are we putting on it? Is it for books? Or is it for your giant Lego sets? Because we're going to need more Lego shelves. 2 meters high is a really tall bookcase. We'll go to like 1.5. And then maybe a 1 meter. We can just make one bookcase and then make it, we can duplicate it once we decide we like it. So I'm going to go to like 0.35 here. Yeah, that looks about right. And so I don't know if we get any international studies credit for this course, but we will learn to think in meters, and the rest of the world will understand you better, I guess. One more just trick. So I'm at 1.5 meters tall, and my center is my pivot point, and so it's right in the middle here. So if I want to set this right on the ground, I'm going to do 0.75 here on the Z for my location, and it's right on the ground, same as if we snapped it to a plane. Even though your math is not mathing, I'm sorry, but that's something we can do. All right, let's cut this up. I'm going to try and cut this in a couple different ways just to make sure that we don't get too many faces. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab one edge here, select, loops, rings. There is some key combination that I can use to get that. Oh, and I do have one printed out. Bunch of shortcuts. If anyone would use that. Was that you? No? Okay, he's fine. He's better than that. He doesn't need us. Whatever. All right. So with those done, I'm going to go to edge. I'll just subdivide, and we'll increase the number of cuts. So this is 1.5 meters tall, right? So like 4 is good. You can go 5 maybe. So 4 cuts gives us 5 shelves. We'll do this. We might put big stuff on the shelves. Okay, and then I'm going to do something goofy here. I'm going to grab my faces and let's just see if this works. Okay, so this will be the front of the bookcase. And then I'm going to try to inset them, but do it individually. So there's a checkbox here, individual, boom, there we go. So this is going to give me weird shapes because I didn't reset my scale. Tab out, Control A, apply scale, tab back in. Here we go again. So one thing we could do is we could inset all of those individually. Hit this individual button, and now I can just extrude them in, and I've got shelves. Extrude individuals fine. Pull those back in. And then here'd be another good chance to go to object mode or wireframe mode and just look at it from the top, and I can just move them. We can go almost to the back. This can be your like standard modern shelves with like pieces of cardboard at the back of it rather than wood. Go. Got a cool shelf to display things on. We're going to do a little bit more work to this, give it some, I don't know, just some form. This is just the most boring cube shelf ever. So we can move some stuff in. Maybe. Let's try and get some feet or something cool. Give it feet at least. There we go. So I'm going to go to subdivide. Wow, I hit the wrong button. Edge. And I'm going to subdivide this guy a bunch. Shift D to duplicate, yes. Okay, I just made a bunch of faces down there. I'm going to extrude those down. Not individually. We'll do those in normals. We've got feet. I'm not going to drag this out too much. So I'm just going to unhide everything again. Alt A, there we go. Hello, computer. H, not A. There we go. Alt H to unhide everything. Wow. The math isn't mathing and the brain isn't braining. All right, so I'm going to pull this guy up. Somehow he ended up very short. We made a tiny bookcase, not a big one. Scale them up. That's fine. And then, yeah, if you want to put lots of junk in your room, Shift D to duplicate. Now you can have multiple bookshelves. This is probably a really large room. Okay, so I think we did the things. I didn't finish my lamp, but let me just double check our canvas to make sure we did the things that we said we were going to do, and then remind us the things we're still supposed to do. So Blender. All right, we did a room, at least floor and walls, right? You want to cut some windows in, doors, give it a roof, and just make sure the camera is inside the room with it. That's fine. Rectangular table, at least 4 chairs. We got a bookcase. We got a round table lamp or table and a lamp. We got some wood textures. We got our metal couch. So you still need to make, for me, some new piece of furniture that goes in this room, right? Make this a studio apartment and throw a bed in there, call it a day. You want to do a counter and a sink and call that furniture, that's fine too. Just finish the room out. And then some new prop. Don't oversimplify. Don't just give me a really thin cylinder and call it your plate and throw it on the table. And that's, I mean, sort of, that's a thing, but like have some fun, give it some form. We learned lots of new tools. So, you know, books, not paperbacks, hardcovers with actual like, you know, form and shape to it, because a paperback book is just a cube. It's a good texture on it. Books, statues, dishes, flowers, laptops, 3D scan of your favorite thing in your room. If you've got a 3D scanner, we may look at 3D scanning later. So just make some new things. Color and texture it up. As far as textures go, at least have wood grain on some things. And let's see what we got. So we've got all that done. These bookshelves probably would look good in wood grain. So we could add that there. And then I've got the green couch that's called red because we decided we were silly the other day. That is a really big room, actually, compared to this furniture. This is a good size studio apartment. So more furniture, more things, fill the room up. And then, yeah, I mean, yeah, just, you almost got an apartment. You just got to figure out the bathroom situation. Maybe just go to the 7-Eleven. You can add doors here to the room, and if you want to go for I did more than the assignment said and get a couple extra points, that's fine. But I'm not sure we're going to count a door as furniture. Just give me something else that goes in the room. And then finally, I'm looking for another render of your scene. So get a good shot lined up that shows off as much of the things in one camera shot as you can, and give me a still render. I'm not requiring any animation here. And let me disclaimer going forward. So I'll grade last week's assignment that required animation, and I'll be looking for animation in there. Going forward, I'm going to open your scene, and I'm not going to even think to look for animation. So if you added animation to your scene, leave me a note and let me know about it. Or I'm just not going to know it existed, and I'm going to think you're lazy. I mean, I'm just not going to know you did as much work as you did. So if you do any more animation in these scenes that aren't required, let me know so I can look for that. Cool? All right. Yeah, so then give me a render of the shot, and then this is it for the day as far as, or for the week as far as Blender stuff. The other thing that we do have that I need to go through really quick is Sketchfab. So this is a start on your portfolio already. So ArtStation is like the repository where all our stuff's going to end up at. But Sketchfab is a great place for your 3D models. So you can upload your 3D models here to Sketchfab. I just want you to create an account, and I'll tell you when we can start uploading stuff. Log in here. Shoot. Let's try this. Will that get me in? Cool. Oh, goody, there's new terms. We love that. Sure, accept all the cookies. And then if you follow people, you'll start seeing their art here or lots of other people's things. Let me just show you some of the garbage the stuff that I've uploaded. So you can upload any kind of model here. And here's what's cool about it. There's this 3D model player, so I can pan around and I can look at my little NES cartridge here. I can embed this in other pages, so that's why you're going to start with Sketchfab. This is just a place to put our 3D models and show them off. Then I can make an ArtStation page and embed the Sketchfab player in it. I can also look at what's in here, right? So it's cool. I can see it's a textured NES cartridge model, and I'm trying to use Blender keys to pan around it, and that's not working. Then I come down here to this model inspector, and I can look at all the edges. I can look at just base color, different maps and stuff on it, right? Just show me the wireframe. So this is a great way to show off your 3D models without actually emailing them to everyone you ever want to get a job with. So this is, again, this is the start of getting a good portfolio in 3D. So this is going to be required. To get into upper level classes, you're going to have a good art portfolio in 3D. So this is step one, get a Sketchfab account. The stuff we're doing right now, furniture and building blocks and stuff, kind of basic, maybe. Let me look. So right now, let's talk about Sketchfab. So Sketchfab is its own company, and I could upload stuff all day long. And then they decided to put up a paywall and say, look, you can upload maybe 2 or 3 models a month, and then you've got to be in this next tier up to upload more things, which kind of put a damper on a lot of the stuff we were doing in this class. Then Epic bought them because Epic is like Unity now anymore, and they're just buying up all the things. So Epic now owns Sketchfab and ArtStation, and so then they changed all the terms of service, which you just saw change again. And so it looks like right now, I don't know what this 10 uploads credits. Do I have 10 a month? I don't know if this is because I've got a pro account. There we go, upgrade to increase your limit. So I can go pro for $15 a month, billed yearly. Don't do that. Don't pay these guys any money, okay? Get the basic free. Wow, okay, because we were down to 2 uploads a month, which was the suck. Okay, so now we've got 10 uploads a month, which should cover this class. If you're doing more than 10 models a month that you want to show off, fantastic. Come talk to me. We do have access to some pro accounts here because we're a partner with Epic. So if you need more than 10 uploads a month, let me know. For now, 10 should be good. Get you a basic Sketchfab account. And then we'll start uploading stuff here and building out your portfolio soonish. Cool? All right, so this is just a quiz. I need you to go here. I need you to make an account. If you've already got an account, great. The answer to the question on the quiz is the URL to your account. Now, that needs to be a URL kind of like this, right? So it's sketchfab.com and the name of your account. I have absolutely had people in the past send me a link to their profile editing page. I can't edit your profile if I'm not in your account. So like that link didn't do me any good. Give me like the public link to your profile or to your page here, and not something like here with a bunch of other info on it that takes me to Micah's page where I can change his thing. I can't access that. I'm sorry. So just make sure it's a public facing profile that you give me the link to. And that's it for the quiz. Yes, sir.
Do we use our school?
So that's up to you. If you are just dead set against tying stuff to your school email because you're trying to build your professional portfolio for 10 years from now, you got something else, that's fine. I would recommend, if you don't mind, using your school email, because if we need to give you access to pro features and stuff that we've got for being an Epic partner, that's probably going to be through your ACU email. So if you're opposed to using ACU for your stuff, that's on you. We could possibly give you benefits if you do. Fair? Is that enough of a non-answer to make me sound like a politician? Here's my definitive answer. Do the thing that you feel, and that we're going to support that. Yeah. Okay. Just give me that, and that should be it for the week, right? We're doing furniture, we're doing a whole room, and then I just need your Sketchfab account. I don't even need stuff uploaded to it yet, just to know that you've got an account for when I request for you to upload things later. All right. Are we good? Questions? Comments? Scathing reviews? Honest feedback? You hate my shoes? Is that it? No? Okay. All right. If there's nothing, then I'm just going to stop the recording and get my